What if I told you that somewhere, right now, a man is quietly unraveling, his heart tethered to a woman he can't bring himself to confess to? His silence isn't cowardice sights, a battlefield where desire wrestles with fear, where the masculine ego clashes with the vulnerable pulse of longing. Deep in the labyrinth of his psyche, Carl Jung's archetypes are at play. The hero, yearning to claim his prize, and the shadow, whispering doubts that keep him chained. This isn't just his story, it's hers too. It's the story of every woman who's ever felt the weight of unspoken love, who's wondered if she's seen, truly seen for who she is. Most women have stood at this crossroads, sensing a man's quiet devotion but never hearing the words. And in that silence lies a truth. His unspoken desire reveals more than his words ever could. This journey, grounded in Jung's wisdom, stoic resilience, and the raw pulse of human connection, unveils 5 signs he's dying for you, but won't admit it. These signs aren't just clues, they're a mirror to your own power, a call to step into the fierce, radiant woman you were born to be. Picture a woman standing in a crowded room, her laughter a melody that cuts through the noise. She's unaware of the man across the space, his gaze lingering just a moment too long, his fingers tightening around his drink as he fights the urge to cross the distance. Jung would call this the dance of the anima and animus, the feminine and masculine energies that pull 2 souls toward each other, even when words fail. The anima, that hidden feminine spark within him, sees her strength, her fire, and it stirs something ancient, something he can't name. But his shadow, that repository of fear and shame, holds him back. What if she rejects him? What if he's not enough? These are the chains Seneca spoke of when he said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The man's silence is a prison of his own making, but for her, it's a signal, a sign that her presence is shaking the foundations of his world. The first sign is subtle, like a whisper in the wind. His eyes betray him. He watches her, not with the casual glance of a stranger, but with a quiet intensity that feels like a touch. When she speaks, his gaze lingers on her lips, her hands, the way she moves. It's not lust, it's reverence. Jung's concept of projection comes alive here. He sees in her the embodiment of his inner ideals, the qualities he longs for in himself. But he won't speak, because to admit his awe would be to expose his vulnerability. And yet, dear viewer, have you ever caught a man's gaze and felt it pierce through the mask you wear? That moment when his eyes hold you, not as an object, but as a force. That's the first sign he's dying for you. It's not just attraction, it's a recognition of your power, a power you might not even see in yourself. This isn't about chasing his approval or molding yourself to fit his gaze. No, this is about you, the woman who carries a universe within her. The pressure to conform, to shrink, to silence your own fire, it's a weight every woman knows. But what if you stopped apologizing for your brilliance? What if you leaned into that gaze, not to seek his love, but to claim your own? Stoic wisdom, from Marcus Aurelius, reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. His silence, his unspoken longing, is not your burden to carry. It's a mirror reflecting your worth. And as you step into that truth, you begin to see the second sign unfolding, a signal that his heart is already yours, even if his lips refuse to say it. The second sign emerges in the spaces between words, in the quiet acts that speak louder than confessions. He's there, always there, showing up in ways that feel almost too ordinary to notice, yet they carry the weight of devotion. He remembers the small things, the way you take your coffee, the book you mentioned in passing, the song that made you pause. He's not just listening, he's collecting pieces of you, building a mosaic of your essence in his mind. Jung's archetype of the lover comes alive here, driven by a desire to connect, to serve, to be near the divine feminine he sees in you. But his shadow, that inner critic, keeps him from naming it. He fears his gestures might betray him, might reveal the depth of his longing. So he hides in plain sight, offering help, lingering in your orbit, hoping you'll see what he can't say. Imagine a woman rushing through her day, her mind tangled in the chaos of deadlines and doubts. She's unaware that he's the one who always offers to carry the heavy load, who texts to check if she got home safe, who lingers after the group leaves, finding excuses to stay. These aren't grand gestures. They're the quiet sacrifices of a man whose heart is tethered to her. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, taught that true freedom lies in focusing on what we control. For him, it's these small acts, these moments of showing up, because to confess would mean risking rejection, a loss he's not ready to face. But for you, these actions are a map, tracing the outline of his unspoken love. Have you ever noticed someone who seems to orbit your life, always present, always steady, yet never crossing that line into words? That's the second sign he's dying for you, not in loud declarations, but in the consistency of his presence. It's the man who remembers your favorite flower and leaves it where you'll find it, who asks about your day with a sincerity that makes your heart pause. But here's the truth, radiant woman. His devotion doesn't define you. Your worth isn't measured by his actions, no matter how tender. The feminine psyche, as Jung described, is a wellspring of intuition and strength, capable of seeing through the veil of silence. You don't need his words to know your value. You already carry it, like a flame that no one can extinguish. This journey isn't about waiting for him to speak. It's about you, stepping into your power, refusing to shrink under the weight of society's expectations. The fear of judgment, the pressure to be enough, these are shadows every woman faces. But what if you chose to embrace your own light instead? What if you saw his quiet devotion not as a chain, but as a mirror, reflecting the strength you've always had? Seneca reminds us, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Don't waste your time chasing his confession. Instead, pause. Let your presence be the mystery that draws him closer. Let your confidence be the spark that lights your own path. As you claim that truth, the third sign begins to surface, a subtle shift that reveals his heart is already yours, even if he's too afraid to admit it. The third sign is a quiet storm, a tension that hums beneath his carefully guarded exterior. He's nervous around you, but not in the clumsy, obvious way of youth. It's a subtle, unraveling hesitation in his voice, a fleeting moment where his hands fidget or his words stumble when you're near. Jung's concept of the anima explains this. You, the embodiment of his inner feminine, stir something primal, something he can't control. His heart races, not just from attraction, but from the weight of what you represent, a mirror to his deepest desires, his unspoken dreams. Yet his shadow clings tight, whispering fears of vulnerability, of losing the stoic mask he's worn so long. He's dying for you, but to admit it would mean surrendering to the chaos of his own heart. Picture a moment. A woman walks into a room, her presence like a breeze that shifts the air. She's unaware of the man who straightens his posture, whose laughter falters just a fraction when her eyes meet his. He's usually composed, the one who commands attention with ease. But around her, he's a man caught in a current. Maybe he fumbles a joke, or his voice softens when he says her name, as if it's a prayer he's afraid to speak too loudly. This is the third sign his nervous energy betrays the battle within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." For him, speaking his truth feels like stepping off a cliff, but for you, this nervous energy, is a signal, a crack in his armor that reveals the depth of his longing. Have you ever felt that shift, that electric charge when a man's composure slips in your presence? It's not about power over him, it's about the power within you. Every woman knows the weight of being too much, or not enough, the fear of being judged for her fire or her softness. But what if you stopped dimming your light to ease his discomfort? What if you stood tall in your own truth, letting his nervous glances be a testament to your radiance? The feminine psyche, as Jung described, is a force of intuition and resilience, capable of navigating the unspoken with grace. You don't need his words to know your worth. You feel it in the way his eyes falter, in the way his presence shifts when you're near. This is your moment, fierce soul, to embrace the woman you are becoming. Don't chase his confession or bend to fit his silence. Instead, hold space for your own growth. Pause before you speak. Let your silence create a mystery that draws him in. Seneca's wisdom rings true here. You must live for yourself if you would live for others. His nervous energy is not your burden, it's a mirror, reflecting your strength, your ability to unsettle the walls he's built. As you step into this truth, the fourth sign begins to emerge, a deeper layer of his unspoken devotion that reveals itself in the way he protects you, even from afar. The fourth sign is a quiet shield, a protective instinct that reveals his heart in ways words never could. He watches over you, not with possessiveness, but with a subtle, steadfast care that feels like a warm hand on your shoulder in a storm. He steps in when you're overwhelmed, deflects a harsh comment in a group, or quietly ensures you're safe, even when you don't notice. Jung's archetype of the warrior emerges here, driven by a primal urge to guard what he holds sacred. You are that sacred flame, the embodiment of his anima, stirring a devotion he can't voice. But his shadow, that repository of fear, keeps him silent, afraid that naming his feelings would make him vulnerable, exposed to a world that punishes softness in men. So he protects you from a distance, hoping his actions speak where his words fail. Imagine a woman navigating a late-night walk home, her mind heavy with the day's burdens. She doesn't see the man who lingers a few steps behind, ensuring she reaches her door safely. Or perhaps it's the colleague who quietly takes on extra work when she's drowning, never asking for credit. These acts aren't loud. They're the soft ripples of a man whose heart is tethered to her well-being. Epictetus reminds us, there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. For him, protecting her is within his control, a way to honor his feelings without risking rejection. For you, these moments are the fourth sign, his quiet guardianship, a testament to the depth of his unspoken love. Have you ever felt that invisible shield, that sense of someone standing in your corner when the world feels heavy? That's his heart speaking, even if his lips stay sealed. But here's the truth, radiant woman. His protection doesn't define your strength. You are not a damsel needing rescue. You are a force, a universe unto yourself. The feminine psyche, as Jung taught, carries an innate wisdom, a resilience that has weathered centuries of pressure to conform, to shrink, to please. His care is a reflection of your power, not a prerequisite for it. What if you stopped seeking his validation and instead embraced the fire within you? What if you walked through the world knowing your worth, letting his quiet acts be a mirror to your own unyielding light? This journey is yours, not his. Don't wait for his words to claim your power. Pause when you feel his gaze, his care, his nervous energy. Let it remind you of the woman you are. Seneca's words echo here. Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life. Each moment you choose yourself is a step toward individuation, Jung's process of becoming whole. His unspoken devotion is not your cage, it's a call to rise, to embody the fierce, radiant, feminine energy that draws him to you. As you embrace this truth, the fifth sign begins to unfold, a final revelation that ties his silence to your own liberation. The fifth sign is the most profound, a silent surrender that reveals his heart in its rawest form. He reshapes himself in your presence, not to please you, but because your essence pulls him toward his own becoming. He starts to mirror your values, your passions, the way you see the world. Perhaps he picks up a book you love, or speaks with more kindness, or begins to question the masks he's worn for so long. Jung's concept of individuation is at play here, the journey toward wholeness, sparked by the anima's call. You, the embodiment of his inner feminine, awaken something in him, a desire to grow, to be better, to align with the truth he sees in you. But his shadow, that relentless gatekeeper of fear, keeps him from confessing. To admit his transformation would mean admitting you've changed him, and that vulnerability feels like a chasm too wide to cross. Picture a woman, vibrant and unapologetic, living her truth with a quiet fire. She doesn't see the man who's begun to shift in her, or be his words softer, his actions more deliberate, as if he's trying to become a man worthy of her light. Maybe he starts showing up to the causes she cares about, or his laughter carries a new warmth, echoing the joy she brings. This is the fifth sign. He's dying for you, not just in his heart, but in the way he's rewriting his soul to align with yours. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." His thoughts are colored by you, but his silence is his shield, protecting him from the risk of rejection. For you, this transformation is a mirror, reflecting the power of your presence. Have you ever noticed someone change in your light, becoming more of who they're meant to be? That's the fifth sign, a testament to your influence, your radiance. But here's the deeper truth, fierce woman. His transformation is not your responsibility. You are not here to save him, to mold him, or to wait for his words to validate your worth. The feminine psyche, as Jung described, is a force of creation, a wellspring of intuition and strength that needs no external approval. Every woman knows the ache of longing for acceptance, the fear of being too much or not enough. But what if you released that burden? What if you stood in your power, knowing that your light sparks change, not just in him but in the world? This is your rebirth, your moment to break free from the chains of external validation. Seneca's wisdom cuts sharp. No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to want what they don't have. You don't need his confession to claim your worth. You are enough, always have been. These 5 Sinchi's lingering gaze, his quiet presence, his nervous energy, his protective instincts, and his subtle transformation are not just clues to his heart, they're a call to your own. The woman who knows her worth doesn't chase, chooses. So choose yourself, radiant soul. Step into your power. Let your presence be the mystery, the fire, the force that shapes your world. If this journey resonates, join this community of fierce hearts by liking and subscribing. Let's walk this path of empowerment together.